Hello everybody. Just come over here. Okay, there we go. Richard and Tracy are here. Thanks for joining. Oh, and Cornblood Raven. Oh, let's put this on live chat. It changed again. Let me just. There we go. Now I can see everybody's chats. Hopefully. Cornblood Raven, hello. Thanks for joining. Right. So, what's everybody been up to? Let me start music. Hang on. No. Don't want to do that. Don't want to do this. This looked like an interesting playlist. Okay. Where's the chat gone? There we go. Alright, all the usual stuff. Just do a sound check, let me know if you can hear me, you can see me, you can hear the music, it's not too loud, all that stuff. Corn, I'm just trying to get my second degree in Alexandrian Wiccan as of now. Well, that's cool, that's very good. Hope you're enjoying the journey. Can hear and see you good. Okay, good stuff. I got my little fan on today, so I was worried it would be making some background noise. Right. I'm actually going to, sorry, hang on, hold on a second. I'm going to actually change things around a bit because I don't really like this slope here. How do I get it back in? Tracy, hello Tracy, no problems, good stuff. Nice background noise. Yeah, it's what's it called? Psychedelic rock 60s and 70s Sunday evening. I don't know why. I know it's got Pink Floyd indoors, but it's got Radiohead and I think it's got Portishead somewhere. Yeah, got Portishead in here, so it's a bit of a mixture. Alright, I just want to get my chat back into the live because I popped it out. I just can't remember how to do that. Oh, here we go, restore chat. Okay. Because I didn't like it there. It was weird. Okay, all set. And yeah, so what has everybody been up to? I've just been doing all the usual, really. I feel like I'm missing something tonight. I don't know what it is. Oh yeah, so I'm going to do this every week. I got quite sneaky. So what I'm doing, I'm recording at the same time, well, myself anyway. And then what I can do is I can take the Spotify music out and I can cut it into little clips. So I can make shorts to put on TikTok and on YouTube and stuff. Yeah, sneaky me. More content. So I'll do this every week, and yeah, it's an hour earlier as well, obviously, as you know. Then I can spend a little bit more time. Move my camera. No, move it. There we go. Okay. I feel organised now. I think I am organised now. Everybody's very quiet in the chat. Alright, if you haven't been here before, let me just let you know what we do. So this is the Covenstead, and it's just everybody getting together and just talking about whatever you want to talk about. So no specific topic, and we will just carry on from there. Let's see, what am I busy with at the moment? I did release the cleansing and protection magic video class. It's like almost 2.5 hours long. I'm not sure if I spoke about it last week. I think I may have mentioned it, but I can't remember if it was launched then. So I'm mentioning it. So it's part of the, or forms part of the first degree training for the Temple of the Horned Serpent. But what I've done is also you can buy it individually, independently of the course itself if you want to. I'm also going to be doing a course separate from the temple itself, so it'll be independent. I'm going to call it Meet the Devil. So it's going to be quite a bit of history and background and things like that. How we got to the idea of the folkloric devil, at least, and then I'll discuss some methods of working to actually go and meet the devil. We'll talk about the witch's sabbat and things like that. That'll be a course and completely independent from anything else, just standalone. I'll do that, and then I'm also going to be doing ancestral veneration class, which will be part of the temple and also sold separately. Okay, so that's what I'm busy with. Not much, apart from all the other 101 things. Corn said, I've been seeing Damballa a lot. Do you have any experience or knowledge of him? Absolutely no, I don't. And I'm not sure why you would see Damballa, to be honest. Usually in the tradition itself, as far as I know, you have to go through the lower. So that's a bit of a strange one, actually. But you need to ask somebody in voodoo, in those societies and those cultures. So I can't help much with that, sorry. Damballa is kind of like the, let me just make sure I get this right, otherwise somebody going to slap me over the head. Within voodoo traditions, she's kind of like the god, the father. Let me just get this right. Damballa. Ooh, that's very bright. I thought I'd change this to dark. Hold on. Okay. One of the most important of lower spirits in West African Vodun, Haitian voodoo, and other African diaspora religious traditions, I can't read, such as Obia. He is traditionally portrayed as a great white or black serpent, but may also be depicted as a rainbow. Damballa originated in the city of Ouida, in modern-day Benin. Said to be the Sky Father and the primordial creator of all life. Yeah, so it's kind of like the Big Daddy. That's a pleasure. Everybody's very quiet tonight. Anybody reading anything interesting? I've started studying Enochian again. Luke's, hello, have you ever heard or worked with Daji? Never, ever heard of Daji. Now I'm curious. Oh, it's going to be a study night by the looks of it. Oh, is this a Japanese spirit? I don't work with Japanese at all. Let's see. Consort of King Zhu of Shang. I was favorite consort. She was favorite consort. Let's go over here. It'll be easier. I was favorite. I was Chinese. Okay. In legends and fiction, she is portrayed as a malevolent fox spirit. Is this similar to, what are the fox spirits called again? I can't remember anything tonight. Okay. No, but no, I don't, because I don't work with the Chinese or Japanese pantheon at all. Fat Muppets here. Hi, do you know about Vedic mantras? I do know a little bit. Depends what you want to know. There's a lot of mantras. And you've got your beach mantras, and you've got all your different types of mantras. You've got Gayatri mantras and everything. So I guess it depends what you want to know. And if I don't know, we'll just go study it. That's what we're doing tonight. Just wanted to recommend them. Oh, yeah. No, but the mantras, I use them quite a lot. And I've kind of extended that into demonology, so when I'm chanting the ends, I tend to make it kind of mantra-ish. Yeah. There was a period I went through, quite a long period, where I was very much interested in the Hindu practices, so kind of joined a sangha and everything else, and I was, well, very interesting stuff. So yeah, that's kind of stayed with me, obviously. Did form part of my my personal basis of things. Corn, my friend, is a hoodoo and voodoo priest. Led me to the crossroads at 12 at night. I had a dream vision of Baba Legba come to me and show me what lure I was you were to work with. Okay, alright. I'm not sure, because you just said earlier you're doing your second, was it you? Just want to make sure I'm not getting people mixed up. Oh, yeah, you're doing your second degree in Alexandrian Wiccan. So that and this, it's quite a lot to take on at the same time. Luke, lately I felt drawn to her, so 1.5 hours ago I connected to her, and just her energy is so huge, something amazing. It was also my first time connecting to Chinese beings. Cool. And Fat Muppet, I know about the ends. Are they as effective as other mantras? I haven't felt their energy yet. They're kind of similar. I mean, the mantras themselves are a bit of a different technology, I think. You know, just doing the mantra is one thing. It doesn't really do that much, but if you do it in a particular fashion, in a particular way, there's all different effects that it can actually bring about. With the ends, it's really just about calling the energy of the specific daemon to you to work with the energy itself. I mean, with the Hindu mantras and stuff, there's a whole science behind it, I'd say. You know, you're working with the Sanskrit first of all, which is a seed language, and you know, so it's got a lot of potency just in the language itself. And then you know, there's various different traditions. So you chant a mantra X amount of times, and it will bring you you know, closer to a specific thing. Chant it another amount of times brings you closer, even more closer, than etc. 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 So there's a lot more to mantras than there is to just ends. Ends is basically just an unknown language, and it's a phrase which is used to call on the daemons themselves. So that's really all it does. Corn said, I've been going through the Janet and Stuart Farrell books of the 8 Sabbaths for Witches and Witches Way. Great book, it really is. I do remember, because I actually started reading it again last year sometime, and it's actually, I've always pronounced Imbolg as Imolk, and I know there is a pronunciation from Celtic or something of Oimolk, but I've always just pronounced it Imolk, and I thought I was right all along, and everybody else was wrong when they were saying Imbolg, and it's not Imolk. And thought, no. But then I started searching everywhere else and trying to find the pronunciations and all of this stuff, and it turns out it's Imbolg, and not how I thought it was pronounced. And then I was reading that the Pharaoh's book last year, and I realised where I got it from, because I read that book years ago when I started practicing, and it was from that book, because one of the footnotes is actually the pronunciation they say is Imbolg. So okay, now I know where I got that mistake from. So, you know, even with people like the Pharaohs, you've got to check your sources, you've got to double check everything, you really do. Otherwise you spend the next 20, 25 years saying things wrong, like I did. Alright, everyone's gone quite quiet again. I know it picks up speed after a little while, so we'll just have to get to that point. But yeah, as I said, just ask whatever you want to. We'll have a look at that. Let's see, what else am I reading? Oh, I'm reading that one. Luke's. I'll have a look through the book just now. I have a question. Let's say she have evil energy and mine energy is good. So why do I feel so much harmony with her soul during connection? Okay, I suppose we can apply this with many spirits and deities. So maybe in the culture that she comes from, she is considered to be evil, and considering she's a woman in the Chinese culture, I don't really know the Chinese culture that much, but I do get the impression that it's still very patriarchal. So if she kind of spoke up against a man, she was probably labelled as being evil and continued that, and everything else. And if she seduces men, she's probably considered to be evil. I don't know the history, the mythology behind Daji, so I'm just speculating here. But you got to remember that in the particular culture, a spirit, a deity, a daemon, etc. may be labelled as a particular thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they are. They are just viewed in that way. It's very similar to two people meeting the same person, and the one person gets on with them like a house on fire, and they absolutely love them, they think they're amazing, but the other person just doesn't click, and they think they're a horrible being, and just don't get along with them, and they're an evil person. It's just personal interaction and experience. So it doesn't necessarily mean that she has evil energy. It just means that she probably has a particular energy which a particular culture would possibly label as that, in that fashion. So if your energy aligns with her energy, and you are not being led astray, you are not being asked to do things which you find immoral, you are not being led into states of depression and anxiety, then I would say that's fine, no problem. But you've got to make sure you do all your discernment and everything else. Just make sure you are working with the spirit that is not going to, something like an astral parasite that is going to bring you down. You don't want to work with those spirits, so if their energies align, no problem. Corn, The Shining Paths by Dolores Ashcroft Nowicki has been a very interesting and helpful experience in working the Tree of Life. I've learnt meditation, and Qigong and Neigong has helped me with my craft. Qigong and Neigong are amazing and fantastic. Great for energy work. My favourites, that's when we kind of talk about all of the different moving meditations like yoga and Tai Chi and Tensegrity and Falun Gong and all of these things, I always come back to Qigong. I haven't actually read, I probably have, but I can't remember reading any of Noviki's books. I'm sure I have, because I mean she's been around for years. But yeah, I can't think of any. Alright, let me have a look at that book I was started reading. It's quite interesting. Gonna go brides, please hold. Bing! Song of the Dark Man by Darren Mason. Let's get the full title. Song of the Dark Man. No, it's not giving me the full title. Why not? Right, go over here. Probably will. There we go. Song of the Dark Man, Father of Witches, Lord of Crossroads. Interesting book. I'm not sure if it has any personal experiences with the devil and the Dark Man, but so far I'm just going through what seems to be a history section. So it's stories of various different deities and spirits that people encountered through history and are told stories of. But it's very good so far. I'm enjoying it. Corn, the inner smile is helpful to relax. Yeah, it would be. Lucius, hello. So I'm mostly autodidactic in my practice of magic. Is there any general advice, though, for distinguishing between the particular entity you seek to contact and, say, a trickster malevolent being? Yeah, you just need to test it, and there are various ways to do this. I do have a video which kind of outlined. It was a while back, and my brain is not working tonight. It's gone on holiday. But I took a list of things you can do to test the spirit, and I kind of outlined that in the video. And kind of broke it down, so go and have a look at that. It's basic, straightforward. So you kind of you test the spirit. If you belong to a particular tradition, there are probably phrases you can use to test. So you say part of the phrase, the spirit replies back, and then you know it's actually a higher vibrational divine intelligence you're dealing with. But what usually happens is when you start questioning them, they will either a trickster or astral parasite or astral larvae. What will usually happen is as soon as you start questioning them, they kind of just say, "Do not question me. You're not allowed to." And then you know it's not really a divine intelligence, because they are expecting it, because they expect you to do your job type of thing. And so you would then just banish it, get rid of it, and if it's, they often get around the testing a little bit, but eventually they'll kind of break down and go, "No, I'm not answering these questions, this is ridiculous, I am a powerful being, and a powerful being wouldn't do things like that." So, just test the spirit and banish. Luke, see, thank you, it's a pleasure. Corn, the Root Chinese Qigong by Dr. Yang Xuingming, great, he's actually brilliant, he really is. Is a good book for you to pick up, Mr. Lee, if you're doing inner work. I've read a couple of his books. He's very, very good. I do find him to be a bit repetitive though. The first portion of the book is it's a long portion of the book. It's about discussion of Qigong, and it tends to get a bit repetitive from book to book. But yeah, great books, great author, great practitioner. Joy, hello. The problem is when you test them as a beginner, you don't hear them. Oh yeah, okay, I'm not sure if I will hear from them. Alright, so what you can do if you are not able to speak to the spirits yet is use a pendulum, or some kind of divination tool, something that will give you a yes/no answer, and then ask the spirit to answer you through that medium. Obviously, if you can't use a pendulum or any kind of divination tool that gives you a yes/no answer, you're going to have to practice that first. And then over time you'll get used to the responses from the spirits and how they talk, and how the communication comes across to you and things like that, so you can then, you don't need to worry about that method, but it's kind of how to get there kind of thing. Of course, the best way to do it is to find somebody who can physically be in the presence of, and ask them to call a spirit and make sure that it is the one you want to work with, and then see what it feels like, because they all have a certain feeling, and when it is a parasite, you know it's a parasite because it feels different and it doesn't feel right. So the more you work with them, the more you kind of sense that it's coming through. But even then, the advice is just to test anyway. If you're meeting a spirit for the first time or first few times, a lot of people will also test, even if they've been working with the same spirit over and over and over again for years, they'll still keep testing them as soon as they go and meet them, because there's still a chance that something could come along. So discernment's a very if you're going to do spirit work, you have to practice discernment. It's going to take a while, but everything does. Lucius, thanks for advice. I'll look out for it. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of that chat at the moment. How many people we got in today? Oh, it is a quiet day today. Okay. Alright. Let's see, what else can I tell you? I haven't really been doing a hell of a lot. I thought last week was a bit rough with after the equinox period. Just everything went bloody wonky last week. Absolutely crazy. Johanna, hello. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. It is quiet. It's very quiet tonight, by the way. So if you've got questions, throw them in the chat. Yeah, last week was crazy wonky. It was just weird. So I kind of put my head down, got through it, but I think we're through the back patch now. Lucius, also, do you think psychedelics make one more receptive to entities generally, or more likely to confuse their own thoughts for them? It's a bit of a difficult one if you're using them properly, and when I say use them properly, some people can do it on their own. It's a bit tricky. What you should be doing is actually doing it with a guide, and this quite often happens in group settings, and it's usually a guide who knows what they're doing, seriously knows what they're doing. So if anything does go wrong, they can pull you out. But I think psychedelics can be very, very useful, as I said, if they're done right. But I'm not sure if I wouldn't say they become a crutch. Maybe to some people. I mean, if you look at Terence McKenna, I mean, he was just amazing. So yeah, they can be very useful. Depends on who's using them. I think also they differ from person to person. The experience. I smoke weed, and I'm a goner. But other people smoke it and they're fine. So I don't know. It's a bit of a tricky one to say. My suggestion would be find somebody who is a good guide, who knows absolutely what they're doing, and go, as I said, probably usually a group setting. So seek that out. If you're trying to do it yourself, you probably go in wrong directions. At least with a guide, they can push you in the right direction, and so you go to the right places. You have the proper experience, and the experience you're supposed to be having. Okay. Roop's here. Hello, Roop. What do you think about using mantras in the form of kirtan? Oh, you've lost me now. I can't remember what kirtan is. I know the word. So if you just joined, my brain has gone to sleep tonight, so give me a moment. We're doing lots of study tonight. Also rendered as kirtan or kirtan, Sanskrit word, narrating, reciting, telling, describing of an idea or story. Oh yes, yes. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, I get what you're saying now. When I was part of that, the Sangha, the Swami would actually lead the whole thing, and he would take like the parts of the Bhagavad Gita or whatever it was, and he would actually sing them, sing the actual story itself. So it's potent, it's very, very powerful, especially when you take a good source. So yeah, very, very good, if that's what you're referring to. I assume that is. Johanna, do you think our second moon has anything to do with the wonkiness? No, it was purely we were between the two equinoxes, and then there was just a period afterwards. It was going on what my favourite astrologer Kai told me. It was the 5th and 6th were weird, and then the 10th and the 11th were very, very difficult days. So I've kind of come out of that, but yeah, no, it was just a weird period. Hannah, the asteroid that our temporary second moon. Yeah, I haven't seen this second moon. I haven't really looked at it. Should get outside. Yeah, I need to go look at this second moon. I actually saw someone on TikTok the other day. She had this huge big telescope with her, and she's saying, "Oh, everybody's talking about the second moon. I can't even find our first moon. It's gone." But it was new moon, so I'm not sure if she was looking in the right direction. I don't know. But, anyway. Luke's, in your opinion, who are top 3 most dangerous beings to work with? Like if you are experienced, it's fine, but otherwise dangerous. No, that's a bit of a... Guys are asking difficult questions tonight. Dangerous beings. I mean, I would say entities like Cronus. He ate his children, so kind of gives me a bit of a ibby-jibby. Abaddon is kind of known to be kind of raw. It is that I suppose when we're talking about dangerous, it depends what we're talking about, what we're actually referring to actually in regards to dangerous. But I assume it would be that like the kind of raw powers, the raw energies, the primordial forces, those kind of things. Because if you start working with primordial forces, the actual primordial forces, you're picking up on an energy which can take you for a hell of a ride. And if you're not careful, you don't come back from that ride. So, I guess we could call that dangerous. Yeah, so those kind of entities, I would say. Johanna, Terence McKenna was all about everything psychedelic. Oh, he was, but he was such an amazing... I love listening to Terence McKenna talk. And his memory, oh my word. I mean, he just reels things off. From memory, it's like unbelievable. My memory is terrible. I should start taking some, I do microdose stuff. It's not really taking it like he took it. Corn, I'd say yes to the psychedelics if it's peyote in a Native American church. They can help you. It will blow the doors wide open to the spirits. They make you get 200 prayer ties and a sweat before that. Yeah. That's why I say, make sure. I think it's better to do it properly with a proper guide and everything else. So you do have the proper experience, and you're not just guessing, really. And I think there are a lot of people who are doing There's kind of group experiences, and some of them don't really know what they're doing. So if you can find, if you are in America, you can find Native American church that does peyote experiences. You should just go and meet Mescaline. That would just be incredible. I would love to do that. Bolton, hello Bolton. Is it possible to open the third eye with a spell from a witch? I take it you mean, can you just do a spell and the third eye opens instantly? I have heard of that happening. I wouldn't suggest it, because you don't know what's going to happen. This is a bit like when people talk about raising Kundalini, and they kind of raise the serpent, they let it shoot through from the base to the head in like a week, and then they end up with lots of headaches and spiritual psychoses. So, just if you want to do this kind of thing, it is always better to take the time and work at it gently. And opening the third eye, I'm really starting to question this whole idea of opening the third eye. I mean, through practice, it opens. It's gradual, but it opens, and we get to experience our own personal way of doing things. The senses which are open for us. And when we're talking about the sight and the seeing and the third eye, we all think it's about seeing, actually seeing with the eyes. It's not. You see with all of your psychic senses, and the ones that have naturally developed for you, you get to know what those are, and then you can start working and developing those. And then when they're developed, you can start working and developing the other ones that aren't developed yet, aren't as apparent. But at least you've got something you can work with in order to, talk to the spirits, do divination, if you are doing scrying or something like that. So I don't think it should be this kind of instant opening. It can lead to a lot of problems. A lot of people, it's fine, it happens, they do it, but they're fine. But every now and again, somebody comes along and they have a bad experience. And it's a permanent experience. It's not something you can correct later. If you've got spiritual psychosis of a particular kind, you either have to go right back to the beginning and really, really slowly work through, or just abandon the whole thing. And you don't want that to happen. So, do the proper. I'd say do the proper work. Tracy, I've heard Belial is not for beginners. Yeah. I can see why. I wouldn't recommend Belial for kind of somebody who has gone to the point where they're now ready to work with spirits, and you kind of say, we'll work with Belial. No, there are some that are a bit more of a gentler introduction. In fact, if you are at that stage where you want to start talking to spirits, again, my recommendation is always connect with the ancestors. And then start working with the daemons and the gods and the goddesses. It's kind of like a progression. It's a better progression to make. Johanna, no, really, I couldn't find the moon either until like yesterday. Or maybe it did disappear. I don't know. Maybe the aliens took it away. I keep seeing videos of like little spaceships popping out of craters on the moon. I don't know. I don't know what people are doing anymore. It's like my first day on this planet. Oh yeah, no, don't worry. I think lots of us are having that same experience. Fred, hi, thanks for joining. Thanks for your video about Jack Parsons and the Babylon work, and enjoyed that so much. It's a pleasure. Jack Parsons is just one of those figures that fascinates me. I don't know if you watched Strange Angel. Brilliant series. I was actually kind of upset that they cancelled that just when L. Ron Hubbard was coming into it. But if you did watch the series and you enjoyed it, go and have a look for the book. The actual book the series was based on. The book is a fiction. It's not, it's not kind of the script for the series. it's actually about Jack Parsons, and it goes into a hell of a lot of history. And it's really a really brilliant book. And the series did embellish a lot. They did change a few things and get a few things wrong, but it was for the storytelling experience, really. But it was a great series, loved it. Where was I? Here I go. Luke's. It's funny that you said Kronos, and I agree. And I'm still thinking why he is in my life since day one, and everything is in perfect time. Like, what is the reason behind him, or he just doing this for fun? Couldn't tell you. I'm sorry, I couldn't tell you. You're gonna have to find that out for yourself. Yeah, Kronos is just one of those, you know, well, the Titans. But I suppose if we're really getting into the primordial, it would be like Nyx and Chaos and Gaia. I mean, Chaos and Gaia were the first two, the initial primordial beings. Yeah, it's kind of like connecting with the entire planet Earth type of thing. An interesting experience. The Gaia can be very gentle, at the same time can be extremely destructive. So, you know, it depends on your connection, on your own experience. It's going to differ. This is why I say I can't really actually say for you, because it's going to be a different experience for you. Cosmic, just joined. Hello. Have you done psychedelics, Lee? Sorry if you have answered. Not much myself. I'm one of those, I think apparently it's 1 person out of 10 that can have a couple puffs on a joint, and they are, I start hearing voices, I hear people's thoughts, I have visions, time fragments so much I actually can't put anything together. I can have 5 conversations at the same time and I don't know what I'm doing, because they're all fragmented into little cards that I can see, and I can pull one card here. It's chaos, absolute. It's horrible. So I would be a bit worried about doing psychedelics. I probably will do it sometime in the future. But you know, if I end up having a psychotic experience or something like that, I'd rather just get most of my life out of the way first. Because who knows? With me, anything could happen. Alright, Corn. That was my experience. I died as a child of 5 and came back. They did the peyote so I could see what path I was to do in my life in Natchez and Roma. I'd say, that's Meridians. That's cool. I'm just wondering, you said you died as a child of 5. Did they do the peyote recently? When you were 5, or was it somebody else who took the peyote journey to get the answers? I'm just curious, very curious about that. You know, whenever we talk about peyote, I come straight back to Carlos Castaneda and the Toltec warrior path. It's just, that path is one of the paths that have really been one of the major influences for years for me. I keep coming back to it over and over again. But you know, obviously, one of the main experiences Castaneda has is with peyote, with Skeletor, the spirit of the peyote plant. And I actually started growing peyote once, because funny enough, must have been about 20 years ago. I heard that the peyote fields were getting a bit decimated, and they were starting to lose all the peyote plants, cactuses. So I actually had the idea, because the climate in Joburg is very similar, if not the same. Oops, my daughter's throwing things around the kitchen. If not the same as the climate in Mexico. And I had the idea of actually buying a farm and just growing a load of peyote, and then we can ship them all over to America type of thing. Big dreams back then. It never happened, obviously. But I actually started growing them, and then I'm going to screw that up again. I'm terrible. I've got a black thumb. I got the little. I grew them from seed, and 3 came up, I think, and it was this tiny little, teeny tiny little bubbles, green bubbles, and then I put it outside too soon, and they just dried up immediately. Screwed that up. I'll have to try again sometime. See if I can get seeds somewhere. Although I can buy an actual plant. I just wanted to grow them from seed because I wanted to connect with the spirit of the plant. I don't really have any intention on taking it, but I've always wanted to just sit with my own peyote plant and just meditate with it and meditate with the spirit. And years ago I wanted to buy one, and the guy who was selling them insisted that I have to have a journey, and I said I don't want a journey, I just want the plant, and he wouldn't sell it to me. So very rude. Anyway, okay, getting back to the chat. Corn, I'd say opening the meridians in the body can help you as well to develop your spirit and to protect yourself, but you can tell what spirits are in your space. Yes, absolutely. And coming back to like opening the third eye and things like that, if you're actually working with your energy bodies and getting them properly aligned and everything moving properly, it helps with all of that stuff, everything, because we kind of like, we go through our day and we make sure our physical bodies are fed and they're cleaned and all that stuff, but we keep forgetting about our energy bodies. And then we have our blood system and our nervous system and our physical bodies. We've also got an energy system of meridians and all this stuff that runs through the entire body, and they also feed our physical organs. So if the energy body kind of starts to break down a bit, or you get blockages, your physical body is going to be affected. So you've got to consider this as well. So it's definitely worthwhile working with the energy bodies and making sure the energy is flowing properly. But when the energy is flowing properly, it also helps with balancing everything. We're kind of like going to a lot of Reiki practitioners. I mean, I'm a Reiki practitioner, but a lot of them will talk about this. The heart chakra is closed. We need to open it. Not really. I would disagree with that myself, because as soon as they go and open this chakra, it all of a sudden creates an imbalance throughout the rest of the system, because all they're doing is focusing on this one thing instead of trying to work with the entire system to bring that balance back into that one area. So once you do that, bring balance. Once you bring balance into the whole body, then you start to bring balance through the whole system. You start to activate the channels, the meridians, the vessels. You start to activate the chakras. You start to activate, therefore, the third eye. You find that is also very much connected with the throat chakra. So it's not just the third eye. But I think of the throat chakra also. That's where we get a lot of these powers, these abilities from. And there's all different parts of the energy body that we can work with. And there's not just the 7 chakras either. Depending on what system you're working with, there's loads more. But Western esotericism, kind of New Age esotericism at least, just kind of stops at some point. It says they're right. Fred, I'll do that. Was that in connection with the Strange Angel? Yeah, brilliant, loved it. You're gonna love it. Bolton. If you dream that you stand and urinate black red blood in a toilet, does that mean anything, or just a bad dream? I dreamt this 2 days ago. It was so weird. So when it comes to dream interpretation, it's often a very personal and also cultural thing, the symbolisms. And I'm going to assume, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are possibly French, considering the way you spelt toilet or toilette. So yeah, it's often very cultural. That's going to differ in France than it is in South Africa, for instance. But at the same time, I'm English. living in South Africa, so even my cultural symbolism gets a bit blurry. But personally, the prime example is two people dreaming about a wedding, and the first person has just gotten married and he's madly in love. He had a fantastic marriage. He's just finished with the honeymoon, and person B has just been through the worst divorce in the history of humankind. Now, two people dreaming about a marriage. That first person who just got married is going to think it's a good omen. The second person is going to think it's like, just bring death on very quickly type of thing. So you've got to, it's dream interpretation is very difficult for someone else to do. And you've got to then think about what colours black and red mean for you. Was it blood, or was it just liquid that was coloured black and red? It could have just been a liquid. It may not have been necessarily blood, because blood we're going to create a particular relation and connection to something which is different to urine, or different to just pure juice coming out, that type of thing. So break down the things. Look at the symbolism. Toilet is something you get rid of something, you dispel, you remove. So it's possibly taking something out of you, removing something from you. So it's going to come down to your own symbolism, and it may have just been a bad dream, stress dream. I don't know. As I said, sometimes I kind of somebody tells me their dream, and I'm like, oh, I know what that means instantly. Quite often, can't really say. Cosmic, why peyote plants? I feel I've missed this bit. When I was talking about peyote, about growing it and wanting to meditate with the spirit of the peyote, that's because of my early inclusion of the Toltec warrior path in Castaneda, and his experiences with peyote. That's kind of where that comes from, I suppose. There was also Datura in there, and I also connected very strongly with the Datura. The Red Lady loves me to bits, but that's a different story. Corn, I did the journey at 5. Yes, my great grandmother was a medicine woman. Ooh, nice. I carry a chanupa, Mr. Lee, and Santa Muerte came to me after the 200 prayer ties and sweat after you eat a lot of food. Interesting. I think I could learn a lot from you, actually. I had my death experience when I was an adult. Wait, hold on. It was 2006, I think. No, sorry, it was 2000. So that was 24 years ago. Hold on, let me do the math. I'm just going to grab the calculator because it's a lot easier. So I'm now 53. Oops, minus 24. I was 29 at the time. There you go. I was young then. God. And I just kind of had to figure it out myself. Really, took a while. So glad you had that guidance. That's amazing. Lucius, regarding the idea of connecting to the ancestors, I never really considered that. What puts me off is that my ancestral culture was forcibly Christianized centuries ago. Given my traumatic past as an evangelical, while I admire the more traditional practice of my culture, I feel effectively severed from it, as most modern people would be. As such, I don't think I have, or it's possible to have, an organic connection with my ancestors' pre-Christian culture. Reconstruction is a thing, I guess. Okay, so this is where I see everybody kind of being introduced to the ancestors and going in the same direction, thinking that it's pure bloodline. It's not. The ancestors, yes, a large portion of your more recent ancestors, and moving back obviously, are bloodline. But if it's any members of that bloodline that you did not get along with, that were abusive, that you did not like, you don't have to connect with them. You don't have to put them in your little family of ancestors. A lot of people don't know their bloodline. They may have been adopted and have no contact with their biological parents or anything like that. So they wouldn't be able to do that. So it's got nothing to do with bloodline or blood family. It's got to do with people who were your extended family, people you loved in life, who loved you, your teachers, your guides, those people who made an impression and they were there for you. And those are the ancestors that you can start connecting with. However, before you even do that, and this isn't something I did, it was only something I learned afterwards, and I then connected with this particular, I'm going to call it entity, and I then understood why, because she's absolutely bloody amazing. There is, in the Nordic tradition, you've got the Disir, which is the mothers, and this is kind of like the ancestral mothers. Now, this is not your mother or your grandmother or any kind of motherly figure like that. They're called the mothers just because they are the mothers. And there's one which is kind of encompasses or represents, let's say, all of them. All of your ancestors, your personal ancestors, and you call out to that spirit, that entity, that ancestor. It's not a particular person, excuse me. It's not a particular person that is in any part of your ancestral line. It is this kind of like, it's not even an entity or a being, I don't think. It's just it's a force. I don't know, I can't really explain it, but it's just this, she comes forward as, usually an old lady, but a gentle old lady who kind of loves you and takes care of you and things like that. So that's what you reach out to begin with. And you just do that by simple stuff. I do need to create that ancestral veneration video, pop it onto the first degree training stuff. But you just do some simple stuff. Light a candle, have some water, you can light some incense if you want. That's where you start. If you then find that you want to start putting pictures of loved ones up on an altar, great, then do that. That's where you can start. It's just a bowl of water and a candle. And you then just sit down and just call out to this ancestral spirit that will be your kind of, it's almost like a gatekeeper actually. It's kind of like kind of comes along, opens everything up for you to go and talk to the ancestors. And then I find that if I want to speak to a particular ancestor, I will request that, and then they will go, this mother will go and call that ancestor forward. And it just makes it a hell of a lot easier as well. But once you've done that, and usually the whole process of learning how to talk to spirits becomes a lot clearer and a lot easier. You've got a stronger connection, a closer connection with the ancestors. Then if you do find that you need discernment, help with discernment, call your ancestors, then call the spirit, the demon or the god, and ask the ancestors if it's actually the spirit you want to talk with, and they'll either say yes or no, because they're not going to let any harm come to you. So easy discernment method really. So yeah, I would say connect with your ancestors, and like I said, you don't need to connect with any bloodline or anything like that. Just reach out to this this mother, the mother spirit, and she will come forward and she'll guide you through the whole thing, whatever you need. Okay, hope that helps. Roop, can you point to any good resources for learning more about dream interpretation? Jung, I think, was it Jung? I know Freud did a lot, but that was awful. I think Jung did dream interpretation, I'm not sure. But I can't think of any resources actually. Not something I do, so I haven't really pursued it. I do remember a book years ago, and it was by Scott Cunningham, I think. I don't really usually recommend Scott Cunningham, but it was actually quite a good, helpful book. Let me see if I can find it for you. It made a lot of sense anyway. He wrote a book called Magical Household. Cool. Dreaming the Divine, might have been that one. See the cover. Yeah, it was Dreaming the Divine by Scott Cunningham. It's a pretty good book, actually. Yeah, as I say, I wouldn't usually recommend him, but that was pretty good. Cunningham was okay. Just got a few things wrong in his third book, apparently. Yeah, sorry, that's all I can really think of, actually. Corn. You can get a candle and do some shaman journey to talk to your ancestors. Lucius, the Akashic Field Shaman drum work on YouTube is a good start if you don't mind doing that work. Yeah, it's a good way to do it. You know, you're going to be going into the lower world, so kind of a modern. See, this is where core shamanism, Hana's core shamanism comes along, and then we have to wonder if it's cultural appropriation or not, which it was, but you know, let's not talk about that right now. Yeah. I'm not really listening to the music myself. What's playing? Radiohead. Lucius, thanks for the explanation. It definitely is helpful as a starting point to see what comes of it. I feel I've contacted and been contacted by entities, but don't belong to any tradition as of yet. You don't have to really belong to a tradition. You know, my suggestion is to kind of get to know a tradition, and in that process you kind of do temporarily belong to it. You kind of immerse yourself in it so much that you sort of do belong to it. But you know, unless you are connected with a community, a particular culture or something like that, then you probably won't be connected to any particular tradition. So it becomes a case of syncretism, and create your own path. It's very much what I've done anyway. Interesting, because there's a whole load of different people on this week. I'm interested to see if it's like a weekly group thing, like this group of people the first week, this group of people the second week. That would be interesting to see. It is kind of quiet, so, and yeah, people are starting to disappear, I think. So a slow evening, or slow day. Right, so shall we call it a day, an evening, a now time, and I'll schedule and see everybody next week for more. We'll do the same thing again. I will just wait a little moment just to make sure nobody's got any pressing questions, because I know there's a delay in the chat. I wish there wasn't a delay, it's a bit irritating. Lucius, appreciate your videos generally. Came across them about a week ago. Feel you're quite chill and down to earth, but informative. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy them. Yeah. I'm just old. I'm getting old. It kind of gets to a point where you just give less of a shit, I think. Alright, I'm gonna go off then. Thank you for the chat, it was great, and I'll hopefully see everybody next week. I've frozen. There I am. Okay, I'll see everybody next week. Thanks for the chat. Cheerio for now. Bye bye.